What's up, Mortgage Coach community? Dave Savage sitting down with Kevin Rudrud. What's up, Kevin?
How you doing, Dave? Great to see you.
Great to see you, dude. So, guys, this is very impromptu. We've done almost zero prep, and he just sent me a message on LinkedIn saying you hit, what did you do?
100 million.
100 million in production. So, boom,
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Super stoked. And we also hit Grandmaster level on the Mortgage Coach software. So it kind of happened at the same time, and I sent Dave a thing because it was I thought that was interesting.
And I've said, like, dude, can you jump on Zoom and talk about this? And he's like, send me a
Exactly.
link. So here we are.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, and I don't usually do a lot of prep because I feel like it just gets in the way of the authentic story and strategy. So, but I mean, we did zero. I actually don't, I think it was 5 years ago I had you on a call and you said it was with Roberto Monaco. So, I mean, it's been a long time since I've interviewed you in the community.
In the community, yeah. I think we've met face-to-face maybe 4 years ago. One of our sales rallies was last time we chatted face-to-face, but in the community, it's been about 5 years, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to just hearing what you're doing, how you're using Mortgage Coach. So first of all, what market are you in for anyone that's wondering?
Orange County, California, Dave's old stomping grounds.
Yeah, that's right. What part of Orange County?
I live in my branch is in Newport Beach, but we serve most of the communities here.
Yeah, well, what a magical place to live. Orange County, California is nice. Newport's a nice part of Orange County, and I guess where are you getting most of your business this year? I mean, obviously there's a lot of refis, but what is your business mix this year?
I think we're about 60% refi and 40% purchase, which is a little bit weird for us, but we have done such a great, meaning we're usually heavy on the purchase side, but we have done such a great job over time with the database and taking care of people and giving them the yearly analysis and all that it tilted over to refi this year, but typically a purchase rep, but this year lots of refi.
Well, and you've done 1,000 total cost analysis, so that's a 1,000 families that had an efficient way that you helped them get into debt. By the way, did that help? Like the fact that you had given them their purchase TCA and now you're reaching back out with a refi total cost analysis. Was that a time saver for you?
Absolutely. And we sprinkle it in at when they buy the house, we do let them know, like, the good loan officer should, that we're going to take care of them over time. We're going to let them know what's going on with their mortgage every year. And the big piece of articulating that message is always the TCA, right? Because it can say so much with a short video and then the graphic thing, depending on how they like to learn and how they like to think. I have a lot of clients who are IT professionals, engineers, a lot of the people that typically most loan officers don't want to have as clients because they ask so many questions and they're so detailed. But our way of using Mortgage Coach and presenting that information to them over time, I think makes them more excited to use us because we're able to get the information to them so they can make a decision on their own. But all the smart thinking's been done for them, and they're just choosing which one they think fits best into their financial picture.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, Mortgage Coach is a miracle for the engineer, the Uber shopper, but guys, even if it's someone who barely qualifies and they're their first home, how you might have the conversation, how you might present the options might be different, depending on the fluency and the experience. And just, some people are grinders and some people aren't. Do you find that to be the case?
I do. And I don't know if, like, the whole like shopping thing, grinding thing, like, I understand what we mean as an industry by that, but it's really like what you always say, it's price and advice. And you have a lot of times the reason people default to price is because there's nothing else to differentiate. And it's easy for someone, everyone knows that 2 is better than 3 is better than 4, right? That's easy for someone to figure out. But when you really, and it's difficult to explain points and credits and all the things that we know in our head and how that works. So I think Mortgage Coach is kind of the bridge between the two, where you can say, look, it's complicated, but I can put it to you graphically and I can explain it to you with, simple scripts. And then you'll have the knowledge you need to make the right decision. And as we all know, oftentimes people come up with a different decision at that point because now they're educated to the point where they can do that.
Yeah, and I think also people are just like, when you give them advice and you're showing them options and you're showing the transparency of the different loans options over time, they're just like,
Mhm.
we're good to go. Like
Yeah.
it's not like selling a loan. When you're selling
Mhm.
rate, payment, cash to close, it's
Mhm.
transaction. It's a very shoppable.
Yeah.
It's you're not selling to a higher purpose. And when you show people, hey man, look how much faster you can pay off your loan. Hey, look at the difference over time. You're selling to a higher purpose to the family.
Exactly.
So, well, anyways, first of all, congratulations, brother.
Thank you.
100 million in production is this your first year of 100 million?
For sure, 100 million.
So congratulations. I mean, it's a pretty unique club in the mortgage industry. Not everybody ever, most people don't ever get to that goal. By far, most people don't ever get to that goal. So congratulations. It makes you super elite I know how to
Thank you.
market. I know how to close loans. I know how to juggle a lot of balls at the same time. But then to also hit 1,000 TCAs, that means you are serving families at a higher purpose than a loan officer that's given a free worksheet. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank
Congratulations.
you.
And it also just makes you a great spokesperson for the mortgage industry. Uh,
Mhm.
Anyone listening to this, if you are having a record breaking year and you hit your black belt or you hit your um, red belt, I do like to know that. Our team celebrates that. I shared that in Slack with my team. There'll be people high fiving. So
Nice.
whether you share it in our group, whether you text it to me, I think you LinkedIn message it to me. By the way, are you
Yeah.
using
Well,
LinkedIn a lot?
you liked me on LinkedIn and I replied and I was like, yeah, it's great.
Oh, did I just do that today?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you know where that came from. I don't know if you shared it on LinkedIn or Facebook, but I saw that you hit that number and I
Mhm.
commented. And then I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, so okay. So you're not using LinkedIn that much. I friended you today, so you popped it
Oh,
there.
nice. 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 Very cool. No, the team helps with that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's go through a TCA. Do you want to do a purchase or a refi?
Let's do a purchase. How does that sound?
Okay, purchase. And what percentage of your families are getting a mortgage coach TCA?
100. They all
Boom.
do. It's part of a process. It's when we do the pre-approval. So we'll do the client calls in. My team helps me get the documents, gets the 1003 filled out, very accurate, very detailed. They set up the file for me with the intake form that we have, and then I meet with the client over Zoom just like this. During the meeting with the client, I'll say, okay, the purpose of this meeting, you're going to get a couple things. One, you're going to get a pre-approval letter from my team. That's what you're looking for. That's your ticket to the ball. Two, you're going to get a comprehensive analysis that shows in a lot of different ways with a little video of me explaining everything, all of the different scenarios that we talked about. So I'll go through that when I do my edge report, how we do that. And then finally, we're going to send the analysis as well as some written notes from this meeting over to your real estate agent so that they have some good guidelines and so they're not making offers too big, offers too small, and they'll know exactly what we can do as far as being aggressive to make sure your offer can get accepted in the competitive marketplace. So that's kind of the three things that we do coming out of that meeting. Then from there, the team will pre-approve, and then we'll put together if I have a form, I don't have a form here, but they'll put together 3 scenarios for me in the mortgage coach. They kick it back to me. I record the video explaining all the different scenarios, and then we email that with the pre-approval letter out to the client.
Boom. So guys, first takeaway, if you're a brand new loan officer, you just heard that, the magic answer is 100% of the time. That's what top producers do. They have a consistent system, process, and the benefit of that is they're always delivering their best experience to the family. But 2, they get really good at it. When you've done something 1,000 times, when you've done something 100 times, you get really good at it. When you do
That's a
something
good point.
yeah, like, I mean, there's some loan officers that, well, with this kind of guy, I do this, and with this kind of person, I
Right.
do this. And
Right.
the problem with that is it's never your best experience and you never get amazing at it. So great answer. So why don't you pop up your screen, show us TCA. And I interviewed a lot of loan officers, guys. We've got a playlist called How Blank Uses Mortgage Coach, How Jeremy Forcier Uses Mortgage Coach. And the list goes on. Some, like Jeremy, likes to create the TCA himself because he just likes to do that. It's a favorite part of his job, and his team does everything else. And most people, the team does the setup. They've got a loan production partner that is doing that, setting it up. They are putting the video on it. They are giving the advice experience. Sometimes it's on Zoom. Sometimes it's just telephone and a Mortgage Coach live experience. So tell us what we're looking at.
Okay, so this is a great example, right? So I met with this client who recently closed, and during the TCA doesn't look the same every time, and I am the one putting together the strategy, but the team kind of fills it in. But in this case, I talked to the lady, and my questions, my whatever you want to call it, the perfect loan application questions, are tailored on what she's trying to do. So in this case, the 500,000 on the left there, that represented her absolute maximum. She did not want to go above that. The 400,000 represented her absolute minimum, meaning there's properties below that weren't interesting to her. She'd rather be a renter at a $385,000 property in our marketplace. And then the final comment came when she said, but I don't want my payment to go over 2,000. That's the payment I'm comfortable with. So what we do is we created, this is obviously a VA loan, right? She's not putting any money down. She gets to see the top Cadillac end of her budget, and looks like the payment there ended up being about $2,700. She gets to see the bottom end of her price range. In this case, she is in one price range, right? And she can see it's about $486 a month cheaper. So maybe that decision for her, maybe $486 a month is a lot to her and she wants to go lower. Maybe it's not a lot to her and she wants to go closer to the top, depending on the property she finds. And then finally, she's got that $2,000 payment goal number in there, and that shows her, look, you have to get the payment at 2,000 on a VA loan, you have to buy a house for 350. So she was kind of unrealistic in what she was thinking as far as monthly payment and purchase price. So when she gets all these numbers, now she's educated, right? She knows that if she wants a $2,000 payment, 353, she can't go over that. She knows that if she wants the Cadillac, it's 2,700. If she wants the the kind of the lower number that she had in mind, it's 2,200. So now she, based on her own budget and her own spending habits, and whether she wants to eat top ramen or whether she wants to go out, or like all these things that we don't know as mortgage originators, as far as how they want to live their life and budget, she's well equipped with a couple questions from our end to make the decision on her own. So we lay it out like that. I'll put all that in the video. And then if she's got more questions, she can obviously call in, because in this case, she thought she would, at 500,000, she's, what is she, $700 over her goal payment, right? So that's some decision making she has to do. Like, she qualified for all three, but that's decision making on her part that now she's educated to do.
Yeah. So first of all, I think this is super smart. You're giving someone options. I think, doing Mortgage Coach to a refi is pretty straightforward. It's like, hey, refi, lower pay, here's what you got. Here's your refi option. Most loan officers will also show a prepay strategy. Like, hey, what if, do you do that with your refis?
Yeah, every time.
Every time. So a lot of ballers in the Mortgage Coach community do that. It accelerates the sales cycle. It increases the value. And I think you guys can all connect the dots, improves your conversion. Now, refi or purchases are a little different. You've got to, it's chess. You got all these different moves. Which option should I show? What are some of your most common moves and strategies with purchases?
Well, with purchases, the number one strategy is to listen to the client. It's that simple, because they'll call and they don't know what they're explaining. Right. So a lot of times,
stop sharing your screen real quick, because I want you to pull this up again in a minute. But while you're giving advice, I just want the full.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sorry. So the first thing is to listen, because a lot of times they're just at the beginning and they are really looking for that advice. And of course, we've all had somebody call and say, I want to buy a house for this much. Most LOs, I think, just say, okay, great. Here's what that looks like, instead of saying, well, how'd you come to that number? Oh, I found, and kind of fleshing out what thinking they've done so far, right? And how committed they are to that thinking. So it's all about listening to what that client is trying to do right off the bat. That's kind of the first piece of advice I would give on purchase.
I want to pull out something else you said. Yeah. If you're a fee worksheet loan officer, you're becoming a mortgage coach, or you're a new loan officer, what he did was a little bit of constructive tension. And I find that all top producers are good at navigating that. Like, oh, why did you do that? Why do you want that? Whereas I find that new loan officers or lower producing loan officers, it's always just like, the customer tells me what they want, I just give them what they want. Guys, part of being an advisor, being a mortgage coach, is finding the why, sometimes stepping into some constructive tension, not being hard to work with, but just walk into that. I want to make sure I can just tell you do that with ease and you do it naturally.
Well, and the challenge up front also puts me in the advisor's seat, because advisors challenge, right? They don't just accept everything. And a lot of times the reason I'm involved, the reason I'm here is because I've got good advice for the person. So, you know, if we were just going to go off of their advice the whole time without me questioning it, making sure it's sound, then my value, I think, is diminished.
So you use the word challenge. Guys, I've used to talk about this all the time. I feel like I've communicated it so well to the community, but I think all-time best sales book I ever read is called The Challenger Sale.
Yep.
And the whole epiphany is that the best salespeople, they tailor, they ask great questions, they teach. So their goal is not to just give people what they want, it's to get them, to teach them something they didn't already know. They control and lead. Like people are following their process, and that's all wrapped in constructive tension. If you've never read that book, can't recommend it enough. Challenger Sale. You're clearly a Challenger sales rep.
Correct.
But read the book? Are you familiar
Yeah,
with it?
I've read the book. I read it maybe, I don't know when it came out, and I don't, long enough ago that I don't remember when I read it, but that's from that. Yeah.
Cool. Anything else you want to share on? Well,
Yep.
you said, listen, go from there.
So the next thing is, if you remember when I looked at this, I was like, oh, well, good. This person was only in one price point. A lot of times, at least in my market, you know, people will be in like 4 different price points when you first meet them. Like, well, the top of my range is 700,000 and the 300,000. Well, I mean, you know, guys, everyone's market's different, but if you look, like, those are 2 really, really, really different properties, different realtors serve them, different communities, different schools. Like, that is a confused person, right? This person, they're kind of in the same ballpark. They're only $700 off payment from the top to the bottom. So it's like you're just using that data to determine how much thinking that person's done and how realistic they are in what they're trying to do, right? And then when you spit the data back at them, you're kind of directing them to where they should be. Like, if, you know, there's some people that say their bottom is 350. It's not 350, it's 600. You know, like, they're never buying a house for 350. There's some people that say their max is 800. It's not, their max is 600. And you need to make sure that, because that's what creates a tight real estate deal. And that's what makes you valuable to your other client, the realtor, is a borrower that's educated on where they are, what's comfortable for them, what the payment looks like for them. And they're not so scattered and so wide. And it's hard to do that with words, but it's easy to do that with a mortgage coach presentation.
Love that. So I got a couple more questions.
Yep.
Frank Blakely, I see that you're watching this. Frank just hit 100 million. I'm going to be interviewing him next week. Can't wait to see you, Frank, and hear what you're doing, how you're doing it. Sue Meitner's jumping in, listening. If you guys have questions, comments, man, we got a couple $100 million producers watching this right now, by the way. Okay. So what I want to do is, because I'm helping a lot of big teams that transition from a fee worksheet to a mortgage coach purchase. What about, if someone is the grinder and you know they're shopping you, or they're going to talk to call center lenders or big banks, do you ever show different cost options on purchases where, like, 2 points, 1 point? Do you do that very often? Just curious.
The way I do that, hold on, my earphones ran out of batteries, so I'm going, can everybody hear me okay?
And I can hear you perfectly. We didn't lose
Okay, cool. So the way I do that is the way we structure it is, after the pre-approval is done, if they are that kind of person, I'll say, look, you know, interest rates go up and down like the stock market, and interest rate locks are attached to a property. They're not attached to a person. So until we have a property, we can't lock your rate. Now, if you, when you get into contract, we are going to choose one of these scenarios. Like, if you remember this girl here with the 500 and the 400, but what we're going to do is we're going to use the exact purchase property, because these are people that are like that are very much into, like, everything being perfect. So, like, we're going to use the exact property. We're going to use the exact property taxes, the exact HOAs, the exact interest rate of the day. And I'm going to give you probably 2 or 3 other interest rate options that might make more sense than the option that's been presented here. But at that point, we're going to get extremely granular on it.
Love it. Okay, I got that.
And then we have that lock call where a different TCA is given to them, and they choose option 1, option 2, or option 3 based on real numbers.
So by the way, Hunter Markwart just texted me and said, tell him to talk about me. So should we talk about Hunter right now?
Hunter is a wonderful leader. He is a very human, dear friend.
What's he going to do this year? He's over 200 million, isn't he?
Almost 300 million, I think.
Woo! Hunter, we gotta, and I don't think he's quite at 1,000 TCAs, but he might be at 1,000. You know what? I think he is at 1,000.
He's got to be 1,000. He's a big deal.
Yeah, well, he's a big deal, but he didn't start using Mortgage Coach as long ago as you did, and it took him longer to go from Mortgage Coach is better than what I'm doing to like, I'm all in.
Yeah.
So anyways, Hunter, we talked about you, dude, in case you watch this. All right. So pull up your screen one more time. I just want to verify that you're actually a red belt.
Oh yeah. Okay, great.
I know you are, because you took a screenshot. I might take that screenshot you sent me and share it in the Facebook group if you're cool with that.
Oh, that's fine with me. Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah. So share your screen again.
Find my like actual.
And then go to the advice engine. I'll show you where it is. Just
Here we are, Dave.
I want to show people something real quick. So show your, we call it the Mortgage Coach advice engine. So this is where you create the total cost analysis. The company Kevin's with has an incredible integration with Mortgage Coach. We recommend that you integrate Mortgage Coach into your platform. If you're an individual loan officer and your company doesn't have us at the C-suite, you can introduce me to your leaders and I will help them integrate it in super badass ways. Show me your screen. You know, show it.
This one here, share it.
Boom. All right, there we go. So you can see that he's created 1,013. So Knuckles, bro. They've been viewed 4,631 times. So that's like 4 times. So about 4 family members are looking at every TCA. You created 220.
You know what? Real quick, Dave. That the reason that I think my report views is so high is because we CC the agent.
Right on. So and guys, we find that, you know, this is a good number, you know, like it's above average. I think 3X is what is average. There are some loan officers that have 6, 7X looking at it. So there is you could get that up to 5 and 6. Maybe just some framing. One thing I recommend, like if you're talking to a family, and you probably do this, let's say the father-in-law is loading on the down payment, or they got a buddy at work that's a real estate expert, you know, just kind of pushing them to share it. But go to where the red belt is, put your mouse over that. And then you see that little box right to the right of it with the arrow pointing out of it. Click on that little box.
Click on it?
Like, no, not that. Oh. Close that. You see where it says TCA is created and there's a teeny little box.
Oh yeah, here, this whole thing?
Yeah. Oh. So I just want you guys to see that. If you're a new loan officer, tune it in. Guys, we're going to turn you into a black belt at Mortgage Advice. Nice. You just need to log in. You need to follow our Facebook group. You need to watch videos like this that we do. Do you watch much of our content, or has our community helped you at all?
Oh yeah, I watch. You know, I always watching Jeremy. Jeremy's a friend of mine too. I always watch when he's on. He's a good guy.
Jeremy Forcier.
Yeah. And real, it's funny. Like I'm coached by the core, and I think the reason I hit you up is like literally every person that's been on all my coaching call mates, like Amber Kovarek and
Amber's awesome.
They're all over my screen. I'm like, man, I got to get on Dave's show if all my friends are on it. So anyway, shout out to all those people. But yeah, I'm involved in your community. I guess maybe more behind the scenes than on the camera, but tons of
people. You're going to be on the camera going forward. So you go ahead and stop sharing your screen. Cool. So guys, I'm going to be interviewing Kevin again. You know, Kevin, when we do the next interview, because I do want to bring more leadership to all the teams coming in on all the different purchase strategies. And I can tell by just talking to you that you listen, and then you've got probably dozens of different ways that you show this in a purchase. Is that fair enough?
Yeah, I tell my team, it's like, you know, the doctor's office is based on their symptoms. We're just giving them the TCA that's the cure.
Love it. All right, let's see if we have any questions on our Facebook group. You know Brett Figueroa?
I do not, but what's up, Brett?
Hey, what's up, Brett? Let's see. Nick Carpenter, what's up? Kyle Allen, Barry Stone. Brian LaFlame. Brian, I got to interview you, dude. I know you're killing it this year, and you're killing it with Mortgage Coach. All right, dude. Well, let's go into wrap up mode. Any last words of wisdom or any scripts that you have that you think would be worth sharing with the Mortgage Coach community as we wrap it up?
I just think that as far as scripts come and what to say and how to say it and all that stuff, I'm from the school of thought that you never really know what they're going to say, but you do need to know what you're going to say based on listening. So I would say that if you want to succeed with Mortgage Coach, if you want to do more purchase volume or whatever it is, you just need to have a system that you can always tinker with. It has to be advice-based. You have to listen to your clients. You have to get them to their bigger future, and through your expertise and your knowledge, and not just listening to what they exactly want you to do. I mean, we will lose clients sometimes because they're insisting on doing something that I don't agree with. And I tell the team that that's what we are as advisors. We're not just here to fulfill orders that don't make sense. We're here to make sure that people are getting good, solid advice, and Mortgage Coach is one of the best tools we have to do that.
So I hope everybody heard, he listens and he shows people how to get to their bigger future. That's it. I mean, it is that simple, going beyond the transaction, rate, payment, cash to close, the transactional triangle, and getting people to a bigger future. That's what we do at Mortgage Coach. So Kevin, dude, thank you for messaging me. Congrats on your success. I'm looking forward to our next interview. If you guys got value from this, give us a like down below. And next time in the OC, I'll reach out to you, bro.
Oh, that'd be great. Thanks, Dave.
Have
a good one.
All right, you too, bro. Take care.
Bye.